Hello, happy Friday. It's great to see you. I'm excited to be with you and to answer your questions. Got some really good ones today, things that I found super interesting to go over, and I hope that you do too. Without further ado, let's get into these guys. The first question comes from Hoosiertown. I just had a redo left L4-5 hemilaminectomy, medial facetectomy, microdiscectomy, and it worked great. But they didn't use the new Barricaid device to prevent future herniations. Should they have, since I'm a repeat customer? This is a great question. So let's frame this. What's going on with Hoosiertown is this. They had a herniated disc, so that's where the outer part of the disc tears and the inner part comes out. And that herniation, as we've seen many times on this show, that thing is foreign because it doesn't have a blood supply. It's foreign body, inner body, and it causes this inflammatory reaction. And that reaction happens to the nerve root, which just happens to be right there. And so the nerve root becomes inflamed, and that creates the sensation of sciatica. That's what sciatica is. It's that inflamed nerve root giving you the feeling of pain going down the leg, and it's just awful. It's just awful pain. If you haven't had it, it's very hard to explain. It takes your breath away. It turns your face from normal color to pale. And I mean, it's really awful. It's hard to watch somebody in that kind of pain. It's just a difficult thing. So microdiscectomy is the surgical treatment of choice. And Hoosiertown had a microdiscectomy. Microdiscectomy is for people who have a functional neurological deficit. So that's functionally limiting numbness or weakness or intractable pain. Everybody else with a herniated disc can try an epidural injection or just wait it out and see if you can get better over time. But Hoosiertown had the microdiscectomy. So in the surgery, the surgeon made a little incision, went down there and usually under a microscope, pulled out the herniated disc fragments. A lot of people think, well, oh, they removed the disc. They just removed 2 or 3 or 4% of the disc. 95% of it is still in there and hopefully healthy. And then what we hope happens, and what does happen, good 75, 80% of the time after microdiscectomy surgery, is that annulus, the outer part, the ring of the disc, heals back together. And after it does, more disc fragments can't come out. Now, that's not always what happens. Unfortunately, sometimes what happens is before the annulus can heal together, more disc comes out, and now, gosh darn it, you had surgery, you feel great, and then boom, the whole thing starts again a week later. Sciatica returns, severe pain, takes your breath away, you get another MRI, and sure enough, you can see now there's another disc herniation there. Oh man, it's like the worst of all worlds, because you had surgery, you took the risk of having surgery, and now you're right back where you started, only sometimes even worse. When you're in that position, which Hoosiertown was, then you have the same choices. You can wait it out, you can try epidural injection, or you can have repeat surgery. Hoosiertown had repeat surgery. They went in there, they went back and pulled out more disc. And this is the moment of the question, the moment that so what they're asking is, okay, at that point, there's a little device that a surgeon can pop in there, and the purpose of the device is to help heal that rent in the annulus. My answer is this: if the device works, then it's a no-brainer that it would be a good thing to try. I will say the vast majority of neurosurgeons and orthopedic spine surgeons in the world do not use the Barricaid device ever. And the reason they don't use it ever is that they don't believe that it actually works. You know, there's the company has some good data. Like if I was sitting next to a sales representative for Barricaid and I said, "Does that thing actually work?" They would say, "Oh yes, we did a randomized controlled trial with 30 people," and so it's a back and forth right now in medicine. My take on it, I think the Barricaid does work, but not as well as we wish it did. I wish the Barricaid was a molecular scaffold that attracted cellular elements and slowly released growth factors. And someday there's going to be a Barricaid that's what it is, that it encourages tendon growth. By the way, we've got the same problem in a lot of areas of medicine where a poorly vascularized, something that doesn't have a ton of blood supply, structure in the body that's crucial for our function is not healing as much as we wish it would. And that's the partial ACL tear. That's the in the knee. That's the partial meniscectomy, the meniscal tear where it can't be healed. That's the labral tear in the shoulder, the so-called Bankart lesion. That's the partial small labral tear in the hip. All of these things, and the Achilles, not to mention the Achilles. The Achilles tendon is often kind of shredded, and we wish it would grow back and heal up and stop hurting, but it just doesn't. So we're in this problem in a lot of areas in the body, and a lot of research is being done, but we're not quite there yet. So long answer to a very straightforward question. As is often the case on this show, it's a yes or no question, and my answer was maybe. Maybe they should have, but we don't know, and certainly most surgeons would not. So if you believe in democracy, if you believe in the market answer, if you took a poll, most surgeons would not have used it. Could it have helped you? Maybe. I'm hoping you do well. By the way, it's 2 strikes and you're out. The same baseball. It's 2 strikes and you're out in spine. In my opinion, if you have a herniated disc, you get 1 redo microdiscectomy, and then to me, you go on and do a fusion. If you keep doing microdiscectomies, there's just no end to this, and it doesn't make sense. What needs to happen next, I hope you get better, Hoosiertown, I hope you're done. But if it happens again and you get another MRI, I would say they need to go in there, scrape out the whole disc, remove it, do an inner body fusion, and that's the end of the problem for you. So nobody wants a spinal fusion if they don't have to have one, but 2 strikes and you're out. All right, who's next? What do we got here? Oh, Ante Mistelic. Hello, Ante Mistelic. It's so great to meet you. The first thing I have to say is thank you for this video, which I find absolutely useful. Well, the first thing I say back is you're welcome. Thank you for watching it. I had an L5S1 disc extrusion confirmed by MRI, which caused pain from my lower back down to my knee in my left leg. All right, so we had a L5S1 disc herniation on the left with sciatica. Okay, gotcha. As recommended by my neurosurgeon, I've been avoiding any physical therapy that involves spinal manipulation so as not to add to the damage to an already damaged disc. Okay, interesting. We're going to unpack that a little bit here in a second. I mostly rested without sitting for 4 months and tried to walk as the pain was absolutely gone in 4 months. Yes, which is exactly what we expect. 94% of people are going to see resolution of sciatica within 12 weeks without any additional treatment. During those 4 months, the neurosurgeon monitored how far it was possible to lift my leg up while lying on my back until I felt pain. First it was 20 degrees, then it was 40 degrees, and finally after 4 months, I didn't feel any pain during the test. Yeah, that's the straight leg raising test, which is a great test. You lay on your back and the surgeon pulls the leg up. What that's doing is stretching the sciatic nerve over the herniated disc. The most positive straight leg raise test is actually called a contralateral one, where they raise the leg on the other side and it causes pain down the painful side. That one, you're in trouble. That's a big herniated disc. Almost any movement is causing pain. The second one is the direct straight leg raise, and then the more you raise it, the more stretch. So the higher you get with no pain, the better the nerve is doing. So good physical exam test. Now that I no longer have pressure on the nerve, it's clear to me that it takes a certain amount of time for the ruptured disc to heal. That's very true. Is there any sort of vitamin supplements, etc., that I could be taking to help my body repair the tear in my L5S1 disc? Even if it's about something that might help, I'd like to know if there's such a thing. I'm just looking for a recommendation. Yeah, that's a great question. So you've totally nailed it. What's happening is your body is digesting, the white cells in your bloodstream are digesting that disc. And if we did an MRI every 2 weeks, we would see the disc getting smaller and smaller and smaller. There was a short time where people were like, oh, the disc is being sucked back in to the disc space. No, like there's no sucking stuff back in the human body. That just doesn't happen. So what does happen is the white cells, your blood is made out of red cells, which carry the oxygen, and white cells, which are the immune response. They react and they digest. We think of them as eaten up bacteria that get in our blood or anything bad, but really from their point of view, they don't know what's good or bad. They just know what's foreign to the body and what's normal to the body. And if something's foreign to the body, they eat it up. And so that disc material has no blood supply. So it's a foreign body in your body. Your body doesn't know it's part of you, so it starts eating it up. And then you can see it shrinking away. And as it does, the annulus is healing and you're all getting better. There's no research that could tell us, oh, if you take this yellow capsule, you're going to do great. But there is some information that can be applied to this area, and that information comes from surgical nutrition. So we know for sure that after surgery, where your body has to heal a wound, the healthier you are, the better your body can heal that wound. And in general, in the world of general surgical nutrition, the amino acid arginine turns out to be a really important thing. So can I prove to you that taking a multivitamin with arginine is going to make you heal your herniated disc better? No, I cannot. But that certainly is the case. There's strong information from the surgical wound healing field. And so it makes a lot of sense, and I'd recommend it. It certainly can't hurt. A, D, E, and K are the fat-soluble vitamins. Those are the ones that you can take too much of and they can make you sick. The other ones, if you take too much, you just pee them out. So arginine is in that group. It's not going to be harmful. And so I would say take a multivitamin, and in particular, you might think about taking one that has arginine. And if you really want to go over the top and cover every dot, every I, and cross every T, maybe you could even take an arginine supplement. You can find those in health food stores and certainly online. So from the world of surgical nutrition, post-operative nutrition, comes the vitamins with arginine. And then a second world, which is not as well defined scientifically, is the nutritional science of immunity. So if you go down to Whole Foods right now and go down into the vitamin aisle and supplement aisle and ask the granola person there, hey, you got anything for immunity? There's a ton of stuff for immunity, right? Well, immunity is healing. We think of immunity as fighting off infections, but that is the way your body is healing the herniated disc, like we just discussed. So yeah, that's definitely anything that is putatively good for your immunity is also good for your healing. I don't know. I really don't know whether that works or not. I'm sure people who are better informed on nutrition than me, some are going to agree with me, some are going to disagree. But my own take on it is it kind of falls into that category of why not? If you want to try something, that's another thing you can do, which for all you know could definitely help you. Then there is something in nutrition which definitely is well established and can hurt you, and that is malnutrition. The notion that better nutrition can take you from good to great, that's controversial. There's no controversy that low nutrition affects wound healing, bone and tendon growth, everything. So in that category of don't shoot yourself in the foot, don't shoot yourself in the foot and be malnourished, right? Eat a normal, good, healthy diet with all food groups, rounded meals. You know what I'm talking about. It's hard to define, but it's easy to do. So you definitely want to eat a well-rounded diet. And if you were doing something goofy with your diet, stop it while you're healing. Let yourself heal up. Take care of yourself in every way. Make sure you get sleep. Make sure you flush things which don't belong in your consciousness right now. If something is harmful for you, take it on later. We do get stronger through stress. So I'm not saying baby yourself forever, but when you're sick or in pain, that is a time to take extra good care of yourself and focus on yourself and do things that are good for yourself and that are going to help you improve. You deserve it. Everyone deserves someone to help them when they're sick or in pain. Everyone has something unique and special and that only you can contribute to this world. And it's hard to contribute when you're horrible. By the way, my own personal belief is that sometimes what you contribute is allowing other people to help you. Right? But think about this for a second. This is especially true. I've met a lot of ladies who just take care of everyone around them, the super moms. They're just so into taking care of everybody else. But sometimes you need to be the one who other people take care of. And you need to recognize that in allowing other people to love and care for you, you're actually helping them become better people and do something very, very important. So be a good person, be yourself, but you also have to realize when you're recovering from something like sciatica that it's your time to let other people shine and take care of you. All right, I'm running out of time. I got 12 minutes left. A couple more things I do want to cover. Poppy Love, I can't walk. I need surgery. I've had 3 knee injections on each knee over 3 weeks. Holy cow, that's a lot of knee injections. I really hope that wasn't steroid in all those shots because that's too much steroid. And we now know, the news is getting out there that steroid injections make knee arthritis worse empirically, just historically. But anyway, I hope that's a lot of injections. I hope you're okay. I don't want knee replacements if there's something better or equal. I like hearing about platelet-rich plasma as an option. Thank you. Well, you are definitely welcome. This was from my video on hyaluronic acid injection or PRP for the knee. You know, I do, Poppy, though, I do want to point something out, and that is there is no replacement for total knee replacement. The injections, no matter how well they work, no matter how good they are temporary. So with a PRP, we can debate whether hyaluronic acid like Synvisc and the others, we can debate whether those are better or than growth factor, intra-articular growth factor injection like PRP or growth factors from amnion-derived tissues, et cetera. We can see on an individual basis what's best for you, but none of those things are permanent. None of those things are permanent, not even close. So if they work extraordinarily well, they're going to buy you a year. And if they work extraordinarily well again, you might get another year. How long do you plan to live? If it's more than 2 or 3 years, if you're going to need a total knee replacement, you're going to need a total knee replacement. There's no getting around that. There's nothing else. We don't have on the shelf any sort of intervention that's in any way reparative or complete. Now, someday we will, but today, it ain't that day. We don't have anything like that. So something to think about as we move down the pike. We may have options and keep your antenna up, but we don't have them right now. The reason you need to think about that is so then you say, okay, well, how do I know? Am I bad enough for total knee replacement now, or should I be, fiddling with these things and trying to get other things to kind of string me along. And the answer is the KOOS, Koos survey. There's a survey which asks either 6 or 20 questions. There's the KOOS Junior. I keep saying who's because there's one for hips, that's HOOS. But this one is for knee, which is KOOS. And that survey has been given to people who have severe arthritis. And based on the score, we can tell whether you would be a good candidate for a total knee replacement or whether it's not bad enough and you should keep waiting. That survey is available on my website. I'll try to put a link to it in this in our response to your question. I would go there, take that, and if your score is high enough, then you know, hey, it's really time to move on, and I'm going to have to have it if I'm going to have it eventually, the only thing between me and that surgery is additional lost time and suffering when you were young, right? When you're wasting your youth, your relative youth, if you suffer too long. So that's everybody goes through it, and that's the same thing. All right, let's get to the last question. What do you think about the healing peptides BPC157 and TB500? I love peptide approaches to healing. I'm a huge believer. I did a lot of research on this for the brain when I was younger as a scientist. I was a scientist for the government in the National Institutes of Health for several years in the 90s, and we did a lot of this kind of work, and I'm very hopeful. The problem is the delivery. Okay, well, how do you get these healing peptides into spaces that are going to be helpful? And depending on the situation and the individual, that is the issue. There's some things which just, I think it really is important to be humble as a person and look upon new things with a sense of enlightened curiosity. Show me. I'm really, you've got something new. You got a new device, or you got new peptides, or you got a new drug, or you got a new mRNA vaccine, or whatever you got. View it with enlightened curiosity. Show me your data. Tell me more about it. Wow, that's fascinating. I'd love to learn. So of course I would love to learn. On the other hand, pigs don't fly, people. There's some things that are not possible. It's not possible that the orientation of some planets 10,000 light years away is affecting us here on Earth. That's astrology. That's not possible. It's not possible that a drug given in doses that are too small to interact with receptors has a therapeutic effect. That's homeopathy. It's not possible. And so it's not possible the way that I understand the world. So I'm not judging any ideas, but if you inject stem cells into a vein, I know for a fact, the way that I understand human physiology, and this would also be true of peptides, they're going to go first by circulation. The blood flow in the vein flows back to the lung, where the peptide or the growth factor or the stem cells are filtered out, and they don't pass from the lung. So it doesn't seem possible that a lot of things could work. By the way, that doesn't mean they don't, right? There may be some breakthrough. There's something we don't know that takes it to the next level and makes the impossible possible, and that's great. But when I'm looking at new things, I do sort of constrain myself to what I think is possible. Otherwise, I would be engaging in magical thinking. And on the one hand, there's nothing more fun and exciting than magic. The illusion, if it turns out to be true, that's incredible. But on the other hand, I'm not going to believe in magic as my first line treatment. When it comes to treatments, I'm going to hope for the best, but I'm going to prepare for the worst, and I'm going to go with the things that I know work. So that's what I recommend, is that you have to have you have to take on, as a consumer of information in the world today, which, holy cow, man, we're big buyers, right? We're being bombarded with information everywhere I go, I've got Twitter coming at me, information. I've got the TV, I've got the rest of the internet. There's just no limit to the amount of information that is coming my way. I have to develop a philosophy. All of us have to develop a way of viewing that information. And I kind of think of it as manners, like how do we consume that information? We all eat, but I don't shove the food in my mouth and slurp up my, well, okay, I do sometimes slurp up my soup, but I try to eat in a way that is, I apply rules to the way that I eat. And in the same way, I think we all need to be very conscious. I'm going to apply rules to the information that comes my way. And one rule that I apply is the information should be scientifically valid. The information should be scientifically valid. Science is so powerful as a tool, as a means of understanding the world around us. Honest to goodness, that's really what science does best, is it's an experimental tool. And in science, we learn through things like experiments. And the results of those experiments come to us through published reports. And those published reports contain information that is judged statistically. And mechanisms, the way that things work, are very important and widely discussed. And so those are the kind of things that I'm looking for. So, you asked me about possible treatment, and I gave you my philosophy on the information economy in 2022, 2023. So yeah, that was that was an overstep maybe, but it does get into the question. So my answer is, let's look at the data. Let's look at the data on these things, and I'll search that one up. I didn't have time before this show, I'm sorry, but I'll look on these peptides and see. But what I want you to prepare for, Larry Falk, is it's going to come down to, was the scientific methodology plausible? Did they do an experiment, or are they reporting on information that makes sense and seems valid and was done in a correct fashion, and was the data analyzed properly? And then how strong is that information? Was it strong enough that we can draw conclusions about the efficacy of the treatment? And if all that works out, then let's do it, brother. Let's try it and see if it works, because Lord knows we're looking for new things, right? Like I was saying with these, whether you start at the bottom of the body with that Achilles tendon, or the top at the shoulder or the neck, we got nothing but problems. We're looking for new solutions for. And two of the biggest problems on earth with an aging population are getting cartilage to grow where it's become thin. That's what's going on inside our knees and our hips. And the other one is getting these avascular ligaments to heal. That's like the annulus of the disc, or the Achilles tendon, the labrums of the world, etc. Well, I'm running out of time. Listen, guys, I'm sorry. I gotta go short today. I've only got 30 minutes for this show. And I didn't get all of your questions in this week. I will give answers in writing to every single question that I receive. So please check on the YouTube comment section for answers back. And for those of you whose questions we did answer today, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for coming on. Last thing, I just want to tell you guys, hey, we've got this new video ask service. If you just hold up your phone and hit record in the app, it'll send me your question. I can just answer your question so much better. I want to see your smiling face. I want to see your face even when you're not smiling, to be honest with you. And but I can get a much better answer to you if you can give me a much better question. And the video is definitely the way to go. Well, have a great week. I'll look forward to talking to you next week. In the meantime, if there's something urgent, get in touch with us. Call us. I want to talk to you. I want to know what's going on. I want to hear about your issues and see if there's anything that I know that could help. That's what I'm here for. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. For Best Practice, I'm Dr. If you have a question you would like answered on Best Practice Live, click the link to our website and complete the submission form. The more information you can give us, the better we can answer your question. So please contact us, and we can walk you through uploading your imaging to a secure server. Please like and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with information about your spine and joint health.